Welcome to the second video of the formation of my game room. The first episode I laid out the dimensions of the room compared to the old one, and at the end of that video I alluded that I wanted to paint. I had picked out two colors from Benjamin Moore, Westcott Navy and Eclipse, and the Westcott was a bit darker than I thought it was, so I decided to paint little swatches of Eclipse on 3 different walls to get a feel for how the light was going to hit it, and it's pretty dark. So I'm glad that I didn't buy a whole bunch of it, but I was disappointed that it came out so dark. But the good thing is that since the surrounding surface is white, it's contrasting more than it is on this piece of cardboard. But I will still be using the Eclipse color, it just won't be the entire room. One thing I do have to consider for paint is how well it will affect the lighting of my videos. The darker the paint, the more light I will need to keep everything evenly exposed. So I plan on painting the big east facing wall Eclipse, and then the rest of the room will be painted a lighter shade of gray. So I thought, what kind of gray should I go with? Then I saw my super scope and noticed that the Eclipse color was the same shade as the grip, so why not see if Benjamin Moore could match the color of the rest of the gun. It would be a pretty cool Easter egg for people to discover. It's not obvious, but some people might recognize it. I went to Benjamin Moore to see if they could match it, and it turns out that that shade of gray on the Super Scope has a pretty intense influence of blue, so even though it looks cool on plastic, it wouldn't look good on the walls. So the rep at the store recommended that we go 2 shades down the same family of Eclipse, which turns out to be metallic silver. This color would dry more true to color, so it's pretty easy to tell what it would look like on my wall. Now to set up everything for paint, and I laid out the blue masking tape around the molding, ceiling doors, windows, and outlets, and that was the most tedious part. Once that was set up, then I laid down drop cloth and it was time to paint. I used the mini roller for the close corners and edges, and a larger roller for everything else. The dark wall took about 3 coats to really blend everything in, and the lighter metallic gray only took 2 passes. Overall, the project took about 10 hours with lunch in between. I decided not to take the masking tape off until the next day just in case I needed to touch up anything, and overall it was a pretty good project. There were a couple of areas that I forgot to go over twice, which was on the last leg of the project. I was pretty tired towards the end, and also there's a couple of areas in corners and edges that need to be touched up as well. There's also an issue with the ceiling having some of the paint come off with the tape, which was really frustrating because now I'll have to get up on the ladder and then sandpaper it and then go over it again with the extra paint that was laying around. In spite of that, it came out really nice, and I'm looking forward to moving on to the next stage of my game room, which is moving furniture in and putting up art on the walls. So definitely be sure that you're subscribed and turn on notifications for that next episode. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Super Nicktendo, and I'll see you next time.